Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We got it was fun to figure out what GPPD stood for. GPPD. Oh, okay. Yes. I had to scroll back a little bit. Yep. Yeah, if you just switch a couple letters to words, they get fun to guess. They get fun to guess. But we got Alan House. Good morning to you. We got Albert. Good morning. Andrew, Utah's in the house. Good morning to Bill, Brian, David. We got Frank rocking with us. Good morning to Julie. We got Jacob, Jay, Joe, JT, Marcus, Martina, Micah's. Good morning. We got Randy, Remco, Ryan in the AM. Good morning to you. All my peeps out in YouTube land. We got M Sky. Good morning. We got Leonard. Good morning. All my lurkers in the background of YouTube. So, okay, I still love you. Hit that little like and subscribe button, and it just, I don't know, it makes me feel good. I think the algos feel better. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Everything we do is just for the algos, really. At the end of the day, we're just a slave to the algos. But we have two key numbers that came out. Well, technically just one, but all tied in together. But we had GDP this morning at 8:30 a.m., so about 32 minutes ago. GDP came in hot. They were expecting 2%, and I think we got like a 3.2 or 3.4, something like that. So that number came in not too great. The market was like determined to find some positivity in there, and they did find it with some of the labor news. So it looks like we did cut back a little bit on some of the workforce. So growing economy, less people to work. Just wherever you find the positivity there, that's what the market's rolling with today. So we do have a little bit of a gap up this morning, and that's also surviving some earnings that came in last night too. Specifically Tesla. We'll get to that one, but we do have a little bit of a gap to go. Still inside day from yesterday. Obviously, this trend is still continuing bullish, but watch out for the resistance. Finally, because the other days I couldn't even get a resistance on the board. There was nothing up there, but we have 487.79, so that's a spot I'm looking to break out of. See if we could get some candles to close above it, maybe even come back down, retest that spot, and then continue higher. If this doesn't hold, which right now, I mean, who knows? But it wasn't the greatest. GDP came in pretty hot. Maybe we're going to use that as our resistance, and then we would get a better risk reward if we do short at open. This would be so yesterday was ultimately a retest gap. We retested. We look like we're trying to push bullish again. I'd want to stick with that trend, even though we are pretty far extended off of everything. But well, we got to watch that key level. So 379 or 379, 387.79 would be the spot I'm looking for. We got the Qs. A much better looking gap up. And again, maybe tech continues to just carry the market, but we are above. It's also a gap and go. We are above yesterday's VPOC, so that's 426.71. If we get a retest, look for 426.71 to hold. If not, we probably end up pulling back a bit further. We have a little bit of a gap still in here. Hasn't really closed, and then probably looking for some kind of support at 422.61. So if things get a little bit ugly, and who knows how this day wants to play out, but right now that is pretty bullish, and I like that little support at 426.71. Obviously, no targets to the higher side because I got no levels, except for maybe the high of yesterday, 429.84. But otherwise, if you're in tech, you're loving life right now. Anything else, kind of getting it's just not the same. You might not be doing bad, but it's just not the same. You got TLT with a gap up. This one was one to watch yesterday, so that is a bearish engulfing candle. I'm glad we were gapping a little bit. And TLT, it's going to move all over the place. It's not going to flow as consistently. You'll have some wild days, but still inside day here, about a 50% move on that one. I'd probably want to see TLT pull back a little bit, see if this thing could hold 30 or 93.76. If we get some kind of support, some kind of bounce there, then I think we look to probably continue up a little bit higher. But that is a bearish engulfing candle. I think if that candle breaks at some point, maybe not today, but if that breaks, we're probably looking next level is 92.28 and then back to 91. I don't think we're going to have the same exact conversation that we had when we were all the way down into the low 80s. This is when things got really ugly, but I think some of those conversations about the bond market, the fears might be coming back. I think we're not too far away from a couple things. One, Jerome Powell with the rate talk going to be January 31st. I think we still have government shutdown on the bingo card for 2024 as well. So that should be coming up where discussions of that start picking up. We're going through the primaries with the Republican Party. We got toward the latter part of the year, or actually probably in a few short months or weeks, we're going to start really getting back into the overall presidential race. So we got a bunch of things on the table that could cause a little fear, panic, and that might drive more money to safety at some point, especially as the market keeps on just rallying higher and higher. Maybe people want to pull some money, some cash, thrown into something safe, and that's going to affect the bonds and maybe bring it down. But that would be, aka black swan, geopolitical, any of that stuff as well. But that could cause a little bit of try to go to safety, and you're going to probably see some of those rates just increase a little bit. But for right now, we're just hanging out. We are below all the moving averages, so we have some resistance above us on TLT. But I think this is still one to continue to watch for now. Today, not really much of anything going on with it, though. Let's go to Tesla because we obviously had some earnings. Leonard says, what are your thoughts on day trading Tesla? I have no problem day trading Tesla. I mean, some days I've better better days to day trade Tesla. The earnings pretty much missed on every category possible. They did sell less cars than they were expecting. Their margins, which is a big one that everybody was looking at, they were supposed to have like an 18.3% margin. They had like a 17.4, so slightly less of earnings there. They do have 25 billion in cash. That's pretty good. You can survive on that for a little bit. The Cybertruck didn't seem like the rollout was going as well as planned, right? So there wasn't a lot of positivity. And then they were talking about forecasts. Elon Musk was talking more about forecasts, and it wasn't a rosy picture. And we're seeing that kind of across Ford. We're seeing it across GM, where 2024 might be a tougher year for car sales in general. So, not a lot of positivity on the Tesla call. Obviously, going into this thing, we went from, I think, 261. I got 265 on my chart, but I thought it was close to 261. So 264 all the way down to 207. That's a fairly large. Let's flip this over to a weekly chart real quick. On a weekly chart, this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row of selling. That was a key support we kind of had to hold. Obviously, we didn't. Now we're below that 200. That being said, we're at a little bit of support here at the open on a weekly basis. That is a lot of selling. Anybody who's short probably does want to lock some gains in today. Ultimately, I think Tesla goes lower from here. But on a day trade basis, I think we start to get a little buying coming in. I don't like all that volume above us, though. That's going to be a tough area to break through. That's going to be a very, very tough area. This is we're back. This is that area right here that we're opening at. It might be worth trying to go long to play the retest, as people might want to take some profits from the shorts. This is a spot that the bulls got to kind of hold on to. Otherwise, the next level down, which is not too far away, but 185 would kind of be the 185.08 would be the next spot that I'd be looking for. So I would say this. If I was to try it, I would probably try to play this retest after 6 weeks in a row of selling. Probably comes up. Targets on this one, I'm not sure. Maybe get to this 197.97. That would be my. You got a pivot right there. You got the spot now where the Bears kind of want to protect this thing too. Otherwise, you'll probably see a push higher to 211 ish maybe. I don't see that happening today. I don't really see 200 happening today. I mean, anything could happen. I wouldn't throw my money into that though. If that tells you where I'm at. Um, but yeah, I think we could. This is the do or die spot right here on Tesla. And it depends kind of at the open, but this is going to be a lot of volume. We got to now pile through to see if we could get some kind of momentum. And then if we start getting some closes really above this 198, then now we at least have some volume on the tailwinds and see if we could get to that next level higher. Just all of this though, I think is retest. Longer term, I think is probably coming down a little bit more. I wish there was a little bit more comfort zone. I think best bet is either give it a couple minutes, see what it wants to do. And then if it already comes down to this 185.40 zone, maybe even into like 182.52, if it gets a little bit lower, then I would say now you have a good shot to get back to at least 190 to give yourself better risk reward on the trade. But we're in a tough zone. It's not. I don't even think this trade in the long direction for this retest is going to be the easiest one. So I'll probably be a little cautious on it, and expecting a bullish bounce after that much selling. That's how I at least want to lean. But we'll see the next 17 minutes where this thing actually wants to open at. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be tough after that much selling heading into these numbers. But again, there's no positivity from Elon. There's no positivity from Tesla. It's not really like, okay, at least if I buy it here in the next 6 months, it'll be higher. Like, why? I don't know. AAL. We only got 2 tickers in there. If you guys got tickers, let me know. 3 came in. Oh yeah, we got to look at Boeing too. I've been saying this forever. American Airlines is just a much better company than Tesla. Uh so you got American Airlines beating expectations by 171%, so 18% higher on earnings per share. We got revenue of $49 million beat. Okay, really good gap though. Let me see. I don't know where this trend line is from, or if this trend line makes any sense whatsoever. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I don't even like that trend line. I was gonna say if my imaginary line is gonna stay there, but I'm gonna take that one off. I don't like it. Not sure exactly what that's from. But if that was there, I would say that we're gonna run into a little resistance. It's a really good gap though. Are we breaking through any like serious bear plays? Right there is one. AAL might go to the top of the list. Sorry, Tesla. I'm now putting American Airlines in the Magnificent Seven. That's crazy. In terms of spots to watch on this one for bullish trends, so let's see if we can figure out some kind of target. You have the 50% retracements. That's going to be somewhere around $10.97. I'm going to throw this one here. And then we got the 618 up here. I think that's a drastic move. But those would be my 2 target spots. So if we think we're going to just hit that 50% retracement, it's only going to give me about 26 cents higher. If we think we can get through it, there was some buying into this thing. I think what's more impressive is the fact that we are taking out this candle with all that volume. And it is a pretty nice gap. So let's see if we can get a pullback because I'm not sure if we could break through that 14.96 or not. And then you got $15 right above us, psychological hold number. But yeah, if we could get any type of pullback into like 14.60, so about 11 cents lower, I think I might try that one. It is a really good gap. I got it on the top of the list. And then if we can start breaking through it and do something where we almost break through this, we probably get rejected off that $15 mark and come through, and we could kind of use that as support. And then I think we have 1593. That's a really, really nice trade. It's about another dollar on top. So otherwise, pretty decent looking. You gotta watch that one today. Nice find. All right, let's take a look at Boeing. Uh-huh. I think they said they're halting production until we get some investigations. That's the only thing that could have been worse for Tesla is if they said we're just going to stop making cars until investigations come in. So at least Tesla didn't have that news. Pretty good volume day yesterday. We're taking out all the bulls there. I got nothing but free range down into this 202.11, so that'd be my target for today. Let me just make sure we didn't get to that already. We kind of did. Yep. Kind of got to it on that initial drop. Let's see if we get bought up a little bit on this one into some resistance. We're still a little bit far away from where the resistance would come in. That could either be 209.86, just the lows of yesterday, or if it comes up a little bit higher, 211.86, and I think that'd be a much better shot to try to. That'd be a great spot for risk reward purpose. I mean, if you get in somewhere close to, let's just call it 212, and you have a stop up at like 216, you got yourself a $4 risk reward, and then you got about $10 to the downside. That's 2.2 hours. If it could make it there, we're a little bit smack in the middle. It's the only thing I don't really love. And also pre-market, right when the news came out, we already kind of did hit these levels, and we got some kind of a bounce. So let's see if we get some more bullish buy or some kind of bullish buying, maybe some short covering that comes in here. And then I do like it to the downside, though. That is a good gap and go. Even I would even consider this one if we do even at open, just some kind of high wave candle at open. Give me like a green high wave candle. I can take the breakdown of that. Then I also have for a day trade purpose a good spot to throw a stop right above it. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We try again when it goes higher. But that looks like a good breakdown. Autocorrect NVIDIA. I thought John wanted to look at Nodell. Okay. Well, we do have multiple NVIDIAs. We'll see what they're doing. AKA Nodells. Yeah, so they're running. They're still inside yesterday's candle. Obviously, we did find some bears to come in, or at least some bulls that just didn't want to hold there anymore. I mean, you were only up about $28 in one candle. So if you got it pretty close to the open, I guess you'd want to lock profits somewhere. Yep, bullish looks like the direction still for NVIDIA. Again, I'm not seeing any reason why you shouldn't remain bullish. The question is, do you want to be bullish here? Past history shows me yes, just be bullish anywhere. But it is still inside day candle. We know that some bears did come in at 628. I'd want to see a pullback at least to 617. So come back down, retest that, and then see if we get bought up from that. But I don't want to be the buyer here. I know I'm chicken. I get it. But if we get some kind of a pullback at least into like this 617.45, it might be worth taking a look. AMD, I saw that one was running as well. Same thing. See if the chips want to get some profit taking out of the gate. Otherwise, gapping into all-time highs once again. For today, at least, AMD does look stronger, but again, I just can't. My therapist told me I cannot keep buying things at all-time highs, so I have to wait. Or else they put me in the gulag. 179.08 is the spot of yesterday's resistance, or VPOC, I should say. See if this one wants to kind of come down a little bit. If it does, there's your opportunity. Coming in at 178 to try to play maybe a fade up higher. It's tough to go short when something is this bullish and going this crazy. So take it for what it's worth, but I wouldn't want to be the first one to buy it, and I'll probably end up missing the trade and just runs to 190 today. But yep. Netflix. Obviously a good day yesterday on Netflix. You do have a big resistance coming in here as well. So 553.86. I think that was kind of where we said our resistance was yesterday. And that's ended up being where the VPOC is placed as well. So that we do have a little bit of resistance here. Otherwise, it's also a retest gap inside day, so that's going to take away a lot of edge on this one. It's probably a better opportunity to short up here, even though that's a tough pill to swallow. But that's 553.21, somewhere up in that zone. And if we start to break through it, it goes higher. I don't see any real reason it can't. Let me go to this weekly chart. Yeah, the only thing I got is here. So if we can start breaking 559 and holding, so let's just call it 560. We got nothing then until the next real spot, and it's very tiny as 591. So plenty of room if Netflix doesn't come down to test, but inside day, and we do have the VPOC from yesterday above us, so a little bit of resistance. I gotta move this thing. Fallen. Okay. All right, cool. LVS, and then we got Intel and Delta. LVS, they missed on earnings per share. They did beat on revenue. They must have had a good forecast. I think this one was getting bid up right away on the earnings. So there was something in there, even though it looks like they missed on earnings per share. Maybe they released some decent guidance, or people were just loving the the fact that they made money. I guess I don't know. Doesn't seem like the strongest report I've ever seen, but it's also a stock that's not really pricing in a really great reaction. I mean, we're not at all-time highs by any stretch of the imagination. We kind of have some higher lows. We got some higher highs, so the trend is still bullish. I'd probably look to stay bullish on this one. That technically is a retest gap, or not a retest. That is a gap and go. I would be concerned a tad with getting up into probably this 52.65. So we have about another dollar. We'd love to see a mini retest into like 51.69. Then we have almost a full dollar in this trade. Probably get a 50-cent stop somewhere. That could be a 2-hour shot for you. But yeah, pretty good gap. We're going to throw this one up higher on the list as well. INTC. I'm sure Intel is going to run with the rest of them. The one thing with the chips today, besides AMD, everything else has a pretty tough resistance. And again, everything's bullish. At some point, I think it breaks it, as long as the momentum continues. But first spot, $50. So anywhere from $50.31 to $50.61 is probably going to get a little choppy. This is a high wave indecision, but the decision was after we've already made a move higher. So the question is, are we going to continue higher? Is probably the question that investors were asking themselves at that point. We almost got to that. We got to the gap fill, I guess, almost to the penny yesterday. And then it's like such little amount of room after, unless you're sitting there going, Intel is going to break. Intel is going to have a absolutely phenomenal year. And we're going to start to see some of the highs again, which looks to me like $68. So if it could make it to the high, and that's the point, that's what you got to be asking yourself: is it going to make it back to $68? If the answer to that question is yes, you have a good $18 from here. That's a pretty nice return. We are above all of this volume. There's nothing really else in terms of volume on the daily to hold us back. We got to switch it over to the weekly. Even on the weekly sense of things, the next kind of target is $51.19. So that kind of aligns with where we're throwing some of our day trade resistance on. And then the next spot is about 52.60. After that, 53. So it's not, there's a couple spots. None of these are really that crazy of resistance. The fact that all of that volume is now on the tail end of us, much stronger, but this is one heck of a move right into it. So you're kind of in a chop zone. With that indecision candle, the fact we're gapping up tells us that we are probably still pushing bullish, and we got one more little resistance above us. But I don't know if I'll be trading it today. For me personally, just because I don't know what happens with that resistance. We got Delta, so this one's got a little bit of a gap up. Big resistance on this one. I think I prefer. I think I prefer American Airlines over Delta today. Big resistance 39.25, and then if we get slightly past the 39.35, if that breaks, there's your trade. Then there's nothing else until like $40.29. So this could have an absolutely incredible day if we could break through those spots first. I have to move it up on the list. It is a gap and go. We are taking out a bunch of red candles. So far, I do like AAL at open better, but Delta could have a good day as long as we could get through this kind of this 39.25 zone. PayPal, I saw come in. I'm all over the place in terms of where when you guys are requesting the stocks. So I'm completely lost. It's just whatever the last one I see is. PayPal just kind of hanging out for now. We got it to 200 on a daily. Sitting right here, that's going to be a big spot. We did get it one close above it, and then we started pushing a little bit below, but still inside yesterday's range. That is a bearish engulfing candle, but really still holding this level, 62.89. If we could continue to hold it, and if you're bullish on PayPal, I am longer term. But on a swing trade basis, you don't really want to see that get broken down. Otherwise, you're probably coming for more of this retest 62.09. But you can't ignore the 200 right there in front of you, and we're probably going to consolidate here. So day trade wise, I don't see too much risk reward side. If we're going to throw some kind of stops really below yesterday's low, and then we're like everything's running bullish, so let's hop into PayPal. Obviously, it did start to bring up some momentum, but I do have that 200 right in front of me as well. IBM. Dr. Wiggles. That can't be your real name. Your real name can't be Dr. Wiggles. Unless like you a pediatrician. Uh-huh. That would make sense. IBM really, really good. Wow, that's a good gap. This probably to me looks like a fade. I'm gonna throw this up here. This would be my short opportunity. This again, I got no resistance up here, so who knows? But that big strong pop into this move, I would say probably we end up fading. First initial tick at least is red. We'll see what happens. Dr. Wiggle said did very well on AMD yesterday. Now, Frady Chicken. Yeah, I'm Frady Chicken too. I get you. I get you. Some of these names at all-time highs, it's just tough. There's still some good stocks out there, but all right, all my YouTube people, if you have not already, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you guys do so because that was the opening bell. IBM keeps going, so be patient on some of these all-time highs. Eventually, someone's got to want to take profits, but